Sup, Angels? Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 best Deathgrind albums of all time. So before we get started, I wanted to clarify what Deathgrind actually is. It's best described by Dan Lilker as the intensity of grindcore and the heaviness of brutal death metal kind of colliding into each other. So it's pretty much a fusion genre of brutal death metal and grindcore. Few honorable mentions here. First off is Alienation Mental with Ball Spouter. This was a really fun one. After this, it kind of gets to like corn new metal stuff, but Alienation Mental, this one, it's like technical jazz, technical brutal grindcore, wicked. I don't even know. It's well. Fleshless with their grinding album. Oh my god, that glare. I don't have the full length. This is just the demo, but that was a fun one. Kind of like melodic at times too. Both Cerebral Turbulencies could have been... Dude, this glare is insane. There we go. Both Cerebral Turbulencies, As Gravy and Impenetrable. I tried to just fit them. I just couldn't. I just didn't know where. And the stuff that I have for the top 10 is really good. I tend to go to Impenetrable more. That's just my personal tastes than As Gravy. As Gravy was kind of a little bit more brutal death metal. Ad Nauseum's full length. This is Lives of Lies, Despise, and Demise. Kind of looks like some like internal Bleeding Souls of Fate type of like album cover. I enjoyed this one. It was really cool. Yeah. And then we have another honorable mention is Misery Index with Retaliate. This was like Dying Fetus, but a little bit more grindy. I don't know why people say Dying Fetus is death grind. I like maybe like a few parts of Killing on Adrenaline or like the Scum cover on the first one on Pulverizer. I can't even remember that one. But yeah, it's like where's Dying Fetus in the grind? But Retaliate was kind of like Dying Fetus mixed with like Brutal Truth, kind of. That was a cool one. But again, I tried to fit Misery Index and Alienation Mental and Cerebral Turbulency on the list. I don't like doing like I don't like saying top 15. Then you start just like having to fill it up with filler. But I think 10, it just makes it more hard and more fun for me. Before we get on the first number 10, please do subscribe. We're almost at like 9,300 now. I mean, we're pretty close to 10. But at 10K subscribers, I'm going to do something crazy. But number 10, we have Lock Up with Hate Breeds Suffering. This is members of... So this is Thomas from At the Gates, Nick from Dimmu Borgir, and then Shane and Jesse from Napalm Death. So you will see that it's kind of just like a harder, heavier type of like Terrorizer and like early Napalm Death with like the enemy of the music business, like the same era of like that like early 2000s Napalm Death with like that like early Terrorizer with that like At the Gates type of like melodic high pitched vocals. But it's just like a hard hitting brutal grinding bulldozer, just like it never rests, it never lets up. So that's my number 10 spot. Hold over here. Yeah, that's my number 10 spot. This is a Nuclear Blast album too, so you don't really see grind on big labels like that. Number 9, we have Nervous Impulse with Enough for Dementia. This is just heavy. Into the songs, like when it gets to like Low Life, it gets to like more like slam, type of like American brutal death metal. The first 2 tracks, though, the intro and Why Did You Shake Our Baby, it's just like so just obliteratingly heavy grind. It's just insane. The more it goes on, they have a song, Blood on the Dance Floor. This was actually released before that like Hot Topic ban, just FYI. But yeah, Nervous Impulse, incredible. I mean, look at these guys wearing Devourment and Cryptopsy. You know, they did their homework on American brutal death metal and, you know, UK grind. So, yeah, number 9, Nervous Impulse. That was one I always kind of, like, posted back in the day. I don't know, something about that one's just special. Calibus, this is a product of Hard Living. This is a willow tip release. Now, with this one, it has some very cool, like, not like time signatures and, like, you think, like, Queensryche or, like, Fate's Warning or, like, you know, some, like, crazy, like, what's that one band that everyone... Rings of Saturn, like, not like Rings of Saturn. It's just, like, some really just freaky, deaky, brutal, death-grinding mayhem. Some very cool stuff. Very cool CD. Be like, you can't even see it, but there's, like, yeah, like a person just staring at you. I need to get, like, blackout curtains or something, because the sun's out. I usually record at night, because I'm a loner. But I'm doing this in the, like, midday. But yeah, Calibus, really cool. Check this out. I did have them in my ADHD Deathgrind video from like 2 years ago. I'm doing this because people said they wanted to have it redone. So I was like, okay. Inhumate, I wasn't sure which one to go to. I wanted to go with Growth originally. I just think that Expulsion is the better of the two for Expulsion. The thing with Expulsion, just really, I forget what country this is. I want to say Russia. I forget. I hope it says somewhere on here. Hold up. No, yeah, I'm not gonna find it fast. But yeah, I think it's France. Maybe it says France on it. I don't know. But anyways, if you haven't checked out Inhumate, so to spell that, Inhumate, Inhumate. I don't even know if I spelled that correct. This is cool. It's kind of like... I don't even know what to describe. It's kind of just like nothing. It's just brutal, heavy, fast, extreme. Just you listen to it. I mean, the songs speak for itself. It's brutal. It's fast. It's raw. I love it. Nothing much more to say about that. I think we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're on number 6. Circle of Dead Children. Now, this one, I'm about to say, big, heavy slams like Internal Bleeding, Devourment, Dehumanize, and then just raw, that Brutal Truth, Napalm Death, Terrorizer type of grind that everyone knows and loves. This is another Willow Tip release, similar to the Calibus. But Circle of Dead Children, the later stuff kind of got like deathcore-y. I think they're on like Metal Blade, but this is the one where it's just like, oh my god, you need to hear this. It is so freaking good. I always recommend this one. One of the best album covers, album arts in brutal death metal and Deathgrind. So yeah, that's always a good one. Another brutal death metal Deathgrind type of release. Malicious Hate in the Name of Hate. It's kind of like a slept-on hidden gem. I think it's one of the best ones. The album artwork is just immaculate. You'll sometimes see in a lot of my videos that I do wear this long sleeve, only because I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air covers, the pink and the green. But yeah, the album artwork is just immaculate. But the actual music, too, very much speaks for itself. Very much like that Suffocation, Cryptopsy, mixed with, again, the giants of grindcore, of real grindcore, not like the Carcass type of, like, gore grind stuff, but just like the Napalm Deaths and the Brutal Truths with the brutal death metal. Great case, great songs. Descend the Fallen Angel, Bring Forth Hate, The Plague Must Die, all good stuff. Number 4, Mortician with Hacked Up for Barbecue. Now, you could say the argument of, well, how can you not have Exhumed and stuff, but you have Mortician, and to that I say, screw you. The thing about this one is, it does have those grind protest songs like Apocalyptic Devastation, Burning Cities, Rotting Bodies, Random Killing, Corpses Burning, and stuff like Annihilation, Death Unleashed, World Explodes, Cause Unknown, Blood Red Sky, Humans Fry, stuff like that. But you do have that like Impetigo, Resurrection, Lividity samples with this in it. Of course, Roger and Will and the drum machine. about as perfect combination of Deathgrind as you can be, besides Chainsaw Dismemberment, of like the zombie apocalypse, kind of like too brutal, stuff like that. But I think this is that it has those like punky songs like Mortician, Embalmed Alive stuff, Hacked Up for Barbecue, like the real like punky grind songs, and you have like the Blood Cravings, the Necro Cannibals, the Witches Covens to like balance it out with the brutal death metal. But yeah, like stuff like Exhumed, Cattle Decapitation, and stuff like that. Like that's more so like the gore grind list, and later stuff is kind of just like technical, progressive, brutal death metal. Not really much of like actual grind core, so to say. Number 3, Reinfection with They Die for Nothing. Okay, so this is on Ablated, Ablated. They have Lividity, Regurgitation, Brodekin, stuff like that. Classic Ohio label. But Reinfection, They Die for Nothing. This is probably the most brutal, heaviest, besides Mortician, of just like that. Like suffocation, internal bleeding slam mixed with like napalm death and brutal truth. This is just in my opinion, the most prime example of that style that you're looking for, that brutal death metal, death grinding, apocalyptic songs. My favorite songs on this are Devastation, The Mind of a Psychopathic Killer, Take This Knife and Cut My Neck, I Feel Smell of My Victim, They Die for Nothing. Great album. Incredible. Rudy's high-pitched vocals, insane. Now, talked a lot about Brutal Truth and Napalm Death, so I think we all know what two bands at least come down to this, just not the albums or which order. But for number 2, I have to say Brutal Truth with Extreme Conditions Demand Extreme Responses. For this, a perfect example of the old school death metal mixed with grindcore. It was kind of late in the grindcore years of like the Terrorizers and the From Enslavement to Obliteration, the Terrorizers. This was like 3 to 5 years after all those bands on Earache. This is a Earache release. I think one of the best later Earache releases. Incredible songs like Ill Neglect, Birth of Ignorance, Hope, Anti-Homophobe, Time, Walking Corpse. Great catalog of those songs. Dan Lilker, X, Anthrax, and Nuclear Assault. The album does it perfectly, and it's number 2 for a reason, but the number 1 spot is just a little bit better in my opinion, but this is one of the 2 holy grails. There's only like a top 2 for Deathgrind of like, how they have like the big 4 of thrash and like the big 3 of like progressive metal like Dream Theater, Fate's Warning, Queensryche. And you have like the big 3 of like Greek metal like Nightfall, Septic Flesh, and stuff like that. But number 1 goes to Napalm Death with Utopia Banished. I have the original poster right there. For Utopia Banished, this is signed by Barney Greenway. I got it signed by him when I saw Napalm Death with Sick of It All. Spent the whole day with like Mike Mayo from X Waking the Cadaver Now. It was a very fun day. But so this was like 2 months, like 3 months before Extreme Conditions. This encapsulates the true first album of Deathgrind, because From Enslavement to Obliteration and Scum were like the grindcore albums. Harmony Corruption was the like pure punky death metal album. This is what took the death metal from Harmony Corruption and the grindcore from Enslavement to Obliteration, and just incorporated and grinded it all up into this wonderful piece of noise. The songs I Abstain, Christening of the Blind, The World Keeps Turning, Cause and Effect, Judicial Slime, my favorite song by Napalm Death, Got Time to Kill, which they have never played live, because when I asked Barney, I told him that Got Time to Kill was my favorite Napalm Death song. He said that they actually never played it live. So that's some fun trivia. But Utopia Banished, give it a listen. fully. It's got like a little like noise sample at the start, but this is just, there's nothing there's no other Napalm Death, let alone grind or death metal, that even is remotely similar to Utopia Banished. The only thing that's kind of close to this one is like From Enslavement to Obliteration, but if we're really like the Mass Appeal sessions, like the demos before that, whatever. But I mean, if we're really talking maybe like Time Waits or like Enemy, but not like this, just there's nothing like it. It really just nothing like it. It's just so good. But yeah, that is number 1 for the best brutal, well, not best brutal, best Deathgrind album of all time. Yeah, there is the list. Showed off a ton of my collection, a ton of my tape collection too. So, write in the comments what Deathgrind albums you enjoy, what you would have for your 10 list. Do please hit subscribe. Tell me what bands you think are or aren't true Deathgrind, and I will see you next